Good morning. Today is Thursday, April 8th. I wanted to show you what we're going to be doing today. So part of fixing up baseboards and trim is filling in holes. Sometimes you got to tack down the baseboard to the wall, or sometimes it comes loose, so I use a brad nailer to secure it properly. And then of course you end up having to fill in your brad nail holes. So if we take a look, I don't know what it is about this particular area, but I couldn't actually find the stud or a 2x4 right in behind this baseboard. I ended up having to fix it to the wall, and then what I did was I ran some caulking to further secure it. Okay, so I ended up, and this wasn't all me, somebody else had tried this here and tried to like there's like 50 attempts at brad nailing this thing on. So I'm gonna have to fill all these in. A couple of the brad nail heads I'm gonna have to hammer in a little bit further as they're kind of sticking out here. All right, so I have the baseboards kind of patched up. All the little brad nail holes have been filled in with the DryDex spackle, and I let it dry, and I sanded them down a little bit, so I'll give you a look at that. All right, so you can see that you can't really see them very much. I think I missed one there, and it just makes it look like they weren't even there. A couple of the brad nails I just pounded in using tools that I've got, nothing special. I use the front end of a file that I've got in my toolbox and my hockey tape wrapped hammer that I keep around. Call it my good luck hammer, and filled the holes in, and then sanded them down after about 20-30 minutes using a sanding sponge. One side is fine, the other side is a medium grit. It's made by Gator, got it at Home Depot. Pretty cheap, they last a very long time. You could pretty much do this entire project with one sanding sponge. So now I'm in the process of, let me show you over here, taping things up so I can get ready to paint the baseboards and the trim. So there you go. We're just gonna paint that brown color, make it all. I've already given this a coat. You could probably tell it's already had a coat on it. So you just gotta make sure that your tape is stuck properly before you start painting, because that's how you end up getting the paint creeping underneath the tape. It seems to be all right. And then that's how we tape off the trim. So I just want to reiterate that I am by far a professional. I'm not a pro at this, okay? I'm an amateur, and I'm just trying to do my best, trying to save a little bit of money, because painters, finishers, they're not cheap, right? And if you're able to do some of this work yourself, you're really gonna save yourself a lot of dollars. And as long as you can put up with the time that it takes, and you know, if you're a little bit of a perfectionist, this is gonna really help you out, right? So just take your time, don't get frustrated, even if you have to redo something or patch something up. You know, it's just the way it is, right? You're gonna make some mistakes here and there. It's not always gonna work out perfect. I've had to redo things before many times, but that's just kind of how it works, right? And that's how you end up learning how to do things better, right? And new methods on getting it done quicker, just getting a better result. Just like anything, it takes practice, right? So don't be discouraged. Don't be afraid of trying something new. That's the only way that you're gonna learn. So I'm getting close to finishing up this room. Just got a little bit to do with the baseboards right here, and a little bit on the right hand side of the doorway. There we go. There, ready to paint. And this is going to take about 3 coats, because that brown color to be covered up by white takes about 3 coats. You can see I haven't put any paint on this yet. If you take a look at the baseboard, just as an example, there's lots of scuff marks on them, probably from vacuum cleaners. I'll just let you have a look at the finished product here. Looks much better than what you just saw with the old scuffed up, dull looking baseboards in the other rooms there. So those are gonna end up looking like this when I'm done. Wherever you get your paint, I'm sure it's gonna work out just fine for you, as long as it's a washable and durable type paint, right? So like once this dries, I mean, you get hand marks on it, strawberry jam, whatever it might be, crayons, or you know, anything like that, it should handle being scrubbed and wiped off. So next I'll be adding a 3rd coat to the trim out here, trim and baseboards. Another quick tip when you're doing painting doors, shove a piece of cardboard underneath it, and that way when you paint, you can actually get right down to the very bottom of the door, right, and not mess up the carpeting. Just makes your life so much easier. Just be sure not to put wet cardboard, flip this upside down or something like that on the carpet. You know, it does come clean. It's all water based. So, you know, a nice damp cloth. I keep a cloth right there just in case. You'll notice that I don't really use any drop cloths. I've had very few drips, and I just don't really see a need to use the drop cloths. It's brown carpeting too, so I gotta say that if you drip brown paint on brown carpeting, it, it just hides really well, right? But I get to it as quickly as possible. I've only encountered a couple instances where I've had a couple little drips, but it's pretty rare. So it all depends, I guess, on your confidence. If you're not very confident, or if you've got white carpet, put some drop cloth down, protect that carpeting. So for door panels, I typically use a brush to paint the inside of the panel, right? So I do this first, just like that. Right, and then what I'll do is I'll do all three of these rectangular indentations, because your roller isn't really going to get in there. Well, it might, but I just find that this works better first, and then use the roller to do the rest of the door. All right, a quick look at a couple of the doors after painting them. You can see that they've got a really nice pearl finish to them, that nice shine. I just finished painting this one. Not super heavy coat or anything like that, but you know, enough for total coverage. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. The doors weren't 100% to begin with, right? So I mean, I'm working with what I got, and I'll show you what I mean, because when we have a look at this door, of course, you know, there's a little bit of a scratch there, and if we take a look in here, let me turn on the light. You see that? So I don't know. I don't think they used the right paint to begin with. They've obviously been painted more than once, but I'm not sure what's going on here. Most of that will be covered up though. So it's just a quick look at the doors and what they look like right now. I haven't actually started painting the trim just yet, but I will here pretty soon. So it's getting close to lunchtime. I might take a break, and then I'll get back at it a little later.